Listen, do you want to get jacked? Do you want to get bigger, faster, stronger? Are you putting everything you got into your workouts? Well, that's great. That's great. But are you backing it up when you get home? You know what I mean. Are you eating right? Are you drinking right? Are you taking the correct supplements? Well, if you're in need of some fantastic supplements, go over and check out getmountainops.com. Some of the best supplements out there geared towards the specific needs of the hunter. They got multi-blended proteins, pre-workouts, post-workouts, multivitamins, which I myself take and thoroughly enjoy. And not only that, but for the fantastic listeners of this show, if you want to get 20% off your order, all you have to do is enter the coupon code NBH20 at checkout, and boom, 20% off right there. So head on over to getmountainops.com and get yourself some. And don't forget to head on over to naturalbornhunter.com. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our iTunes channel. Hit us up on Instagram and Facebook. All right, now let's get this show underway.
I'm pretty much like an amateur coming into the professional ranks now, and I'm working like a fighter, trying to show these guys what I got, and what my team has to bring.
Boom, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Natural Born Hunter podcast. I'm your host, Will Bradley, along with my esteemed co-host and brother in bow hunting arms, Phil Big Sexy, the Iceman, Mendoza.
What's up?
And tonight we are joined by a man who's as deadly in the cage as he is in the woods, Luke Caudillo. I hope I said that right.
Yes, you did. You did.
I'm going to cut that bit out where I say I hope I said that right later on.
No, you won't.
No, I won't. Who am I
No, you
kidding?
won't.
Who am I kidding? I started recording like a minute or two before I started that intro. That's going to be the thing now. It's going to be surprise starts.
So what's up, Luke?
Oh, man, I'm good. Just got home from the gym, and I was excited to be on here with you guys.
Yeah, man, we've been talking about doing this for a little while, and you've got a lot of things. You got a lot of things cooking in the pot. So it was one of those. It was more of an issue of timing, for the sake that, with the projects you're working on, some things you were still evolving, some things you were trying to figure out what direction you were going, and me and you being friends and you working out my son, which we'll talk more about too here shortly. But it was one of those things I've been wanting to get you on, from the standpoint of it's such a unique category that you're working on, and with the MMA guys and the outdoor world. So why don't you give us a little intro explanation as to that project that you're working on right now?
Okay, well, me being a former, UFC fighter, MMA fighter, and me being 35 years old now, I retired about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I've now I run a gym. I'm part of a gym, and I got into coaching, and we run. We're probably one of the top 5 gyms in the world. Grace Training Center is such a high level gym, and so we get a lot of like high caliber fighters, and who's who. I mean, in the gym, and
Phil's son.
Yeah, I mean, Dom, he hits like a Mack truck now. I mean, I don't get it where he gets it from, his mom's side, But yeah, so it's I got into fighting, and that was my passion. Like me in my younger 20s, yeah, it was all I could think about, And then when I got in the UFC, it was even more, and but I was always in the outdoors. And when I started getting a little older, and my back was like not what it used to be, and I was like, man, what am I gonna do? After fighting, I mean, because everybody thinks, once you get in the UFC, you're gonna make all this money and you're gonna be set for life. That's like my big thing. I talk to all my young fighters, my amateur fighters are like, I'm gonna make it UFC, okay? And I mean, look at me. I'm coaching you for free. You know what I mean? Like, this is because I'm free. I'm making money, So, and that's kind of what I did. And then I thought, well, I'm tired of getting kicked in the face, punched in the face. What do I want to do with my life? how can I be a better family man, a better person, all around. And it was to the outdoors, and it was probably, I don't know, what'd you say, 5 years ago, Bill, Phil, we met each other.
Yeah, about 5 years
Yeah.
ago.
And a friend of ours, Santino, Mantino, you guys know him as, took me into Phil's shop, and he goes, "Man, you got to give into bow hunting." I was always a rifle hunter. I was like, "Yeah, I hunt," but he's like, "Dude, you got to try archery." And so I had like a bear bow, I think. I honestly think I got it at like a pawn shop, maybe even a garage sale. I think, and I had it, and I never had it set up. And I think I had it set up for carp fishing, and I brought it in, and Phil looked at it and goes, "I'll tell you what, homie, I'll sponsor you." And I think I was still fighting in Canada, overseas, a lot. And he pretty much gave me my first bow, and I was like, "Huh?" And funny story there, huh, Phil? I'm an MMA fighter. I feel like I'm a pretty strong guy, And he goes, "Put this release on." So he gives me a bow. He gave me like 4 or 5 bows to try, right? He's like, "You'll find which one you like." And he goes, "Here you go, try this one." It was the one I ended up picking, the Matthews Z7, right? Extreme. And I couldn't even pull back, 55 pounds, I think.
It was about 65 pounds at first, and we had to back him down to about 57.
And
Oh boy.
I was doing the whole, oh, I was weak. I couldn't understand. Like, I didn't have those muscles. But, that was funny. So then I just got into archery hunting, and I've been hooked on that since that day. I could not stop shooting. I mean, I live up here in the mountains right now, and I turned my whole, 2 acres into a 3D range. I got, animals out there, and it's nuts what I've done with archery now. And, where your question's going with this is, what am I doing now? And, well, I'm starting an outdoor show called Gladiators Unleashed. And what I'm doing is I'm in the MMA game, so I want to take these fighters out into the outdoors, introduce them to hunting. Some of them have never done it, and some of them are really good hunters. And now that my name's starting to get out there, and like these fighters, when I was at the the UFC in Vegas for the McGregor one, all these guys, were coming up to me, "Dude, I want to go with you. I want to go. I'll shoot a rifle. I ain't gonna shoot a bow. I ain't that good. I ain't that patient, or blah blah blah." So it's kind of cool getting into that field, and some of these guys asking me to come along with me on the show. So it's exciting for me.
It's definitely, like you said, two worlds that there's definitely some fighters that already hunt. There's a handful that do, and then there's a handful that don't. So putting yourself right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. And that's exactly right, because Luke's brought in a couple other guys that are fighters, and they've bought some bows and stuff from me, and we've got some of them set up. And it's cool because it's different worlds. You've got the fitness world now, and then you've got the MMA world, and you've got, other, I don't want to say genre, but just other hobbies or other lifestyles.
Sports.
Seeing how they mesh and how they all work together. And it's cool, man. I mean, it's always lighthearted with Luke's crew. That's the one I'll tell you. That's the one thing I'll tell you. When we shoot 3D League or whatever we're doing, it's half grab ass and half archery, because it's just everybody's in it for the purest essence of what it is, and it's just having fun and flinging some arrows, and that's what I enjoy doing. I mean, I've been shooting 3D League more often because, like, Santino comes in, and Levi and some of the other guys, and then Luke will come in with Ian and some of the other guys, and Justin brought him in last week. So, and then Dominic gets in the mix, my son, and there's 40 to 55 people there a night shooting 3D League on Wednesdays. Yeah, and I can tell you that there's some people that maybe they're Harley guys, whatever, there's motorcycle guys, there's other people that probably are the office type, suit and tie, and they come in and they play around. There's women. It's just a total mixed bag, and it's a really fun atmosphere.
Let me ask you this: if you had to guess average age, averaged out age? What would you think? Does it skew a little bit younger or a little bit older?
I think that it skews probably in the 30s, I would say.
That's a young
It is,
crew.
right?
That's a young crew for archery, really.
But that's where, with like, and again, going to what Luke's doing, it's a similar deal. He's bridging the gap, and he's been hunting, with his family all his life, and getting into archery hunting more recently, and bringing some of these guys along. I've seen some of the trailers that Luke's put together for some of the shows, and I tell you what, man, it's comical, not from a standpoint of, man, those guys are. It's because their personalities are coming through. Most people don't get to see fighters other than what's in the cage, right?
Correct.
So to see those guys and see Luke interact with them, and like I said, it's always lighthearted from what I see, and it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to see what these guys put down on video, because they're having fun, man. That's the one thing. It seems like there's so much seriousness at times, and I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to. So
I think if you can convey the fun you're having in the field or wherever you are out onto the screen, you'll have a successful show.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, me talking to my producer, and just recently we're talking about this. I'm going to New Zealand in April, right? And I'm taking we're going with Chad Mendez and TJ Dillashaw.
I've heard of those guys.
Oh yeah, they're who's who.
Fairly successful fighters.
Yeah, and I'm just so grateful that I can I'm gonna say I'll tag along, and I get to be a part of their success, and then they're coming on. It's just like Chad's doing his new guiding service called Fins and Feathers, guiding. So it's kind of like he started his deal, I'm starting mine. So we're just kind of scratching each other's back, and trying to branch off to each other, and using what we got, our access of, social media and everything like that. We're trying to build a brand for each other,
Oh, yeah. I think it's a great idea. I think it's important for people to expand their melting pots and their idea of what a hunter or a fighter or even what a guy who rides a desk all day is.
Yes.
Combine them all.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of these fighters, they're no different than you and me. I mean, you guys, the average Joe. I mean, just
maybe you. I'm weird as hell.
We chose a different path. You know what I mean? I mean, I should have went to college instead of in school of hard knocks. But would I change anything? No, never in a million years. I would never change anything I have done.
Now, I know Chad has been a long-time hunter, right?
Yes.
Now, is TJ new to hunting, or is he also a long-time hunter?
What happened to you guys? I'm trying to see what happened to you guys.
We got you on audio. I don't know if the video froze up. I don't know if it's just the feed.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, so I was just talking to TJ the other day on the phone, and we were kind of saying, how we're going to go about doing this, and back to the, the producer part where I was getting to this. We just want to be real on my show. I'm no Jim Shockey. I'm no Phil Mendoza, Mr. Stone Cold Ice Killer, I'm not that hunter, I'm not coming out here to say I'm going to be the best hunter, but will I do my damnedest to, kill the biggest elk? Yes. And a lot of these guys are just as passionate as me as hunting, deer or elk, and they want to show that too, and they train so hard in, the gym. So it's kind of translate it to the outdoors, I mean, it all goes hand to hand, but the main thing is we want to be ourselves, and you get to know the character, like Shane Carwin, for instance. We went turkey hunting last year, and that guy is a giant, right? I mean, we couldn't sneak up a turkey to save our life. I literally had to put him in a blind, right? So I had a 4-man blind, right? And by the time we put, Grady's gear in it, his tripod, and Shane, that was it. There was no room for me, So it's just fun, talking about seeing guys, grab a guy like Shane's size, grab a little turkey, a big turkey, but make it look like a little Cornish hen, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just fun.
So, but and to touch on that, man. So just like most fighters, I'm guessing, were passionate about, right? They had a passion. It was their release. They enjoy doing it. As they've excelled, and some of these guys start competing more in the higher ranks of the UFC and some of the other organizations, it's their job, right?
Yeah.
So to have a release now from something that was initially their passion, that's turned into their job, and they may still love it and be passionate about it, but to have a release now from that, be it hunting or fishing or something, yeah,
Exactly.
man, that's where I see it's huge because everybody needs that. Everybody needs some kind of a release.
Yeah,
And
they need it outside, outside of the gym,
yep.
It is so important,
Let's talk about that a little. What does hunting mean to you?
Huh. I mean, there's tons of things what it means to me, like, am I supposed to say conservation and all that? Yeah, it is. I mean, I pay my tags, I do it all for conservation. But like for me, it's just to let loose, I enjoy being out with either if it's my brothers, teammates, even if it's outside shooting 3Ds with my wife. It's something that I would say like it used to be my sparring. I used to love sparring and get beat on and punch people in the face. Like that was my go. And now my go is to grab my bow and get out there. And it's not even about killing an animal. To me, it's all about just getting out there and maybe doing some selfies with some buddies or some deer we got in. Like that's what it's about for me.
Yeah.
It's just about experience and getting like just getting out there. If I find a shed, oh man, I just found like gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not supposed to find sheds, and I'm finding sheds. So
I
it's fun for me.
I remember when you first got set up and then you got clean up bow shortly after,
Hmm.
and you guys started hitting some of the local 3D ranges.
Yeah.
And you come to me a couple times afterwards, and you were telling me, he's like, man, you do this all the time? It's like, yeah, I do this for tournaments. And he's like, man, that's fun, and you just couldn't believe how you were missing out on. You'd never known about something like that, right?
Never.
And how fun it was, and it was cool to see. And then there's the other
This is
additions of the
this is my
family.
new one, my one and only right now. Yeah, this is Eva.
She's a cutie.
Eva? Is she named
Yeah.
after the Eva, or is it a family name?
That was coincidence, but we'll take it. You know what I mean? It, we'll take that for sure.
She's a little cutie.
Yeah, she's a little 10 months. Gonna be 10 months on the 25th. So
Oh boy.
I can't wait to put a bow in her hand.
Yeah,
That's the great thing about hunting too, and I know from talking to Phil, he's starting to take his boys out to experience the woods. He'll be going with Dom on his first turkey hunt this year. You
Right.
obviously want to get. Do you have any kids of age yet out in the woods, or
Not yet. That's
not
my
yet?
first one. Yeah, that's my
So,
first.
so you're gonna be all stoked. I have a son on the way. I'm stoked just to go out there
Oh,
in the woods, and it's there's something about being in the woods. It's an irreplaceable feeling.
yep.
E- Even shooting 3D and doing that isn't as satisfying. It's not the exact same feeling, but I know that feeling you're talking about of going out and just shooting a 3D course and being like, man, that was so much fun. If
Yep.
I think I got enough time to shoot it again.
yeah.
I mean, when Phil introduced me to this thing, I was like, what have I been missing? Like, it was like a new vanilla ice cream to me, and I love vanilla ice cream. You know what I mean? Like, it was nuts.
You've been hiding this other vanilla ice cream all this
Yeah,
time.
no one's told me about this at all. Like, who's been holding out? You
How,
know?
all right, let's get down to it. How'd you do your first round?
Oh man, I don't think I did very good. I think I took 5 arrows and I ended up coming back with like 3 or 2, maybe. Well, these
We all
guys,
do.
these old guys are all like, "Oh, no rangefinder," and I'm like, "What? I can't use a rangefinder. I barely know how to use this bow." But
You should be like, how
um,
about you don't use a rangefinder?
Yeah.
yeah, but and these guys, I get to shoot with like, the other night I shot with Willie Schmidt and Phil and Dom, and I mean, I think me and Don were close call, but Phil just ended up smoking 10s, 11s, 12s. I'm like, what?
You can't shoot with Phil unless you want to feel bad about your own shooting. That's how it
No.
Well,
goes.
I honestly, I try, I want to shoot with the best, because it pushes me to get better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, man, I want to be the best, just like anything in the fighting. Now I'm working to be the the best I can be. You know what I mean? Like, do I want to be like the Aaron Snyder and Phil and you Will and all you guys? I want to be amongst the guys. You see, you like that one, huh? I know how to treat my guys, but that's why I practice. You know what I mean? And it's just like anything. If I wanted to be in the UFC, I had to practice and train hard enough to be good enough to get in that level to beat the people that I wasn't supposed to beat to get in there. And now that's my job now is I'm going to try to entertain and be the best hunter I can be, and try to make a living out of it, because this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
It's important to find a passion and live with passion. And I think a
Yep.
lot of times any former athlete has a hard time moving on to another passion.
Yep.
And really I think that's why hunting's so important because you can I mean I can't compare my experiences to, being in the cage with anyone, but there's still those moments,
Yeah.
in the woods that you don't experience anywhere else in the world.
Last year, believe it or not, we're filming for the sizzle reel for my deal, and I shot my first bear. Right, I took my bow for 5 days, didn't see one, and my last day we went to Hell's Canyon, Idaho, and I was like, man, I just spent a lot of money on this whole trip. Give me that rifle, right? I've got to try to do something, get one because one, it ain't a scissor reel if you ain't killing anything, right?
No sizzle.
So
No.
I'm like, oh man, so I'm like stressed, right? Like I'm like, oh man, my buddy, I took Justin Sellis down there with me, and an amateur fighter, and he gets a bear the first night, 20 minutes, not he didn't care. He was like, boom, I'm shooting it.
Yeah.
I got a ghillie suit on. I'm trying to freaking be the old, just stealthy, go to get, a close encounter with the bear. And honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't have that encounter because I was about 100 yards away from this bear, and I was doing this. My cameraman was like, "Are you gonna shoot him?" I was shaking so much, like I couldn't even pull my glove off, you know. And to me, it's like when it's not like that no more, then maybe I need to find something else too,
Yeah.
But I'm like it was like my first kill of a buck, or a doe or anything. So I can't wait to go and kill a stag. I don't even know what I'm going to be like, you know?
Even killing does, I get that feeling. Now,
Yeah.
I don't quite shake like that, but there's that feeling inside
Yeah.
me. I'm like, hey, Will, inside of me, shh, calm down, calm down. Let's get this
Yep.
done. Get yourself
Yep.
together.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's like, I watch some of these shows on TV now, and these guys are just like, yeah, I did it, baby, boom. And I'm like, man, how are you guys not excited about doing this? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I watch guys, even Fred Eichler. That guy, he pumps me up because I can relate to him, and he don't care if he's shooting his coyote, and that guy's probably killed more things than I will ever probably see, and he gets so emotional in it, and that's so fun to me to watch. That's entertainment for me.
That right there sums up a good show.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have entertainment. I mean, that's the way I look at
Yeah,
it,
are
and
you feeling what that guy's feeling? Because if he's not
yeah,
feeling much, there's
yeah.
not a
What
lot
do you
for you
do?
there. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a ski movie called Claim, and the whole thing starts out like the trailer to it is when did we become people who go and just throw these big, huge tricks or ski a line that's never been skied before and just get done and turn around and look back like, oh, that was nice, no big deal,
Yeah.
all the time. When did we stop getting excited about this? When did we stop celebrating these achievements? You
Yeah.
know?
It's kind of like me coaching now, right? Like when I would fight and I would knock somebody out right away, and it was like I was supposed to do that. Like I was cool. Did I celebrate? Yeah, but it was like I was supposed to do that. I was cornering Justin Gaethje this last, for his title defense. I get more excited than he does. I think, like I get more emotional than I've ever have about a fight of my own. Because like you want your friend, your teammate, and to succeed, and when he does it in a fashion like that, it's just like me shooting that bear.
Yeah.
It really is, and it was a high that I've missed so much, and that's what I miss about fighting.
But now you've got another avenue to experience a similar. It's not the same high, but it's a similar
Correct.
excitement, right? So
Well,
and that's great.
it's
To
a
me,
positive one because so
Yeah.
many ex-athletes turn to some negative ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I mean,
finding
exactly.
finding some streetwalkers or whatever, anybody that's their own decision, man. I'm
I
just
was thinking
saying,
more like
right?
heroin or coke.
Oh,
But
same game, man. Same
yeah,
game,
I mean,
right?
what?
No, I'm just kidding. But you're right, Luke. It's something that sorry, we see squirrels regularly on the show. I'm sure if you've listened, you've probably
Yeah.
you know what we're talking about. But you're right, man. It's that release. It's that outlet.
Yep. It is.
And here's the thing, right? I like Conor McGregor. I like Nate Diaz. When I heard that Nate Diaz was going to fight Conor McGregor, I couldn't have been any happier because I love fighters that get that into it. I don't get me wrong. I think stoicism has its time and place. I think, being a good sport has its time and place too. However, there's a certain level of achievement or competition or whatever it is you're going after that I want to feel that. I want to feel what you're feeling. I want you to be feeling something. I want us both to be as excited about this, And when I hear Conor McGregor talk or I hear Nate Diaz talk, I just get more excited about what's going on. Win, lose, or draw, however they do, I want to watch them.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, they know how to hype things up, and they know how to entertain people. I mean, I was at the weigh-ins for that, and I could not understand half of these guys from Irish. They were like, happy days. And I mean, it was crazy. I
I,
mean, and it was nuts. It was
what
nuts.
what was that? What was that weigh-in like? Because I must have watched the videos and the interviews multiple times.
So, um, Justin Salas was on the prelim card. So he was right away a weigh-in guy, and he took his old wrestling coach, trainer buddy on stage with him because he's never been on the UFC stage. So me and Trevor Whitman, his head coach, said, go up there, and experience that because it's a great feeling. If you're not going to be a fighter and step on that stage, that is the next best thing. I mean, it's something unreal. And so we gave him the GoPro and said, hey, make sure you do this. And um, so me and Trevor, we go the UFC brings all the coaches in this little area, right? Well, we happen to be in the Stockton area uh, of the Diaz, representing, and these guys are straight up. I don't know. They're crazy, right? But the whole stadium is nothing but Irish fans. Like we have this group of Diaz's, and the whole McGregor Stadium is just nuts at the MGM. We're right in the thing, and once they get up, and you can just hear the trash talking, and I'm trying to film because I'm trying to put videos together and capture everything, but I'm videotaping over here, but I'm looking over here, making sure this fight ain't breaking out, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
So what are your thoughts on McGregor? I mean, with the way he goes about it, because he's definitely vocal. I think he's everybody's impressed with the way he handled defeat.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. I mean, so I guess first, what are your thoughts on McGregor as a competitor, in the UFC?
You know, do I like him? I don't know him like like I know you, but we shook hands, we've talked, and I think he's good for the sport because he's making that money for the fighters. He's raising that bar, which MMA has not had that money yet, like boxing. Could I go without, him talking sometimes? Yes. Let your actions speak, but that's why he gets paid the money he does. So I'm not mad at him, he's marketing himself so good that he's worth that much, and who am I to say, hey, shut up, No, he's doing all the fighters justice, honestly.
Sure.
And, who did I go for? Well, I put money on Diaz. So I was a happy camper.
There you go. So let me ask you this then. He's handled the interviews and stuff after his defeat pretty well, I thought, but he still had an excuse as to, hey, well, who else is going up 2 weight classes? What's going to happen if he loses when he doesn't have an excuse? How do you think he's going to handle that?
Well, apparently they got the rematch going again.
Oh, really?
UFC, 200, and it's at 170 again.
Wait,
so I mean,
wait, rematch Diaz and McGregor?
Yes.
Oh, this is music to my ears.
I'm like, dude, you're gonna give Diaz a full training camp now, and you're gonna do a rematch? I mean, I don't think.
You know what? Good on Conor. Good on Conor.
I mean, hey,
I don't know, man. If he loses again, that's not gonna be good for him, though.
He loses again, he'll have to drop.
Well, yeah, for sure.
But you know
what? Are they
going
to vacate the belt, though?
He's still no. It's not for a belt, because it's at 170.
No, but are they going to vacate his other belt? Is it 145?
I know.
Let's look at this financially, right? This fight is going to be built up. It's going to be one of the biggest fights in UFC history, if not the biggest, right? Money wise, pay per view wise, it's going to be huge. If he wins the third match, oh my God. Oh,
no, he's going to have to defend his belt, or they're going to have to vacate it, though, right?
Yeah,
he's going to have to.
I mean, he's Dana White's, and Vegeta's. I mean, they're going to let him do. I mean, look at TJ Dillashaw. We were just talking how he doesn't get a rematch right away against Cruz, and that was a controversial. I mean, that was a close decision, right? And he doesn't get a rematch right away, and Diaz chokes him out right away. I mean. So, I mean, they see the money, where the money's going to be at, and McGregor, whatever McGregor wants, I'm sure he's going to get. Yeah. I just don't see it. I mean, why don't they do it at 55?
Right, I agree.
I don't know. I guess if I had a goose that was laying solid brick gold eggs, I would not tell him to stop laying those eggs. I'd be like, all right,
but here's the deal, too. If he lays a freaking turd,
right,
then that golden goose or that Midas touch has gone away.
That's true. That's true. But he still has a chance to drop and defend the title. Still can do it there.
But it's not as sexy anymore.
No, I mean, but here's the thing. I don't find him fighting Aldo as sexy as him fighting Diaz, anyways.
No, but he should. Was it Edgar? Is it Edgar that should get the
Edgar and. I mean, Dos Anjos is the champion at 55, which they were originally going to fight, So, I mean, I was pumped when the Diaz fight stepped in, Am I over it? Yeah, but will I watch it again? Yep.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I will. So, I know they got it right. They know where the dollars, the pay-per-view dollars are going to come in and everything,
So tell us about some of the other guys you've got to work with or you're planning on working with, Luke, because obviously you being so heavily involved in MMA and the UFC competitors, you mentioned Chad you're working with and TJ. You did some a hunt with Shane Carwin, and who are some of the other guys that you're not your inner circle, but your hunting circle and some of the stuff you got planned?
Well, I mean, I'm not like, okay, I'm going to take, Pat Barry and Rose Namajunas out. There's, I want to take them all out, but a lot of them got to do hunter's education.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's just not like, oh, yeah, this guy has so many followers. This will be good for my show, and they're entertaining. It kind of brings me back. I took Brandon Thatch. He's a high-level UFC fighter, and he's never went out hunting before in his life, right? And so we went to Texas and we went hog hunting, and we gave him an AR, and my cameraman was like, we were talking, I was going over, how to, safety. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I got this." And I was like, "Yeah, you ain't got it yet, right?" I'm going. My cameramen were like, "Luke, are you really gonna give him a clip?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna give him a clip." Little did he know, though, that clip was empty. I had to give him a test run, and he did, his hunter safety, and he was he's done it, but he's never been in the field, and to me, I was like, well, let's give him a trial on it, I didn't want him to bring the muzzle over to us and like, did you see that? And, shoot my cameraman or me, you know. Oh, there's a lot of things I got to look, into bringing a guest on because, are they hunters? What animal are we going to go hunt for? How much money am I going to go spend on a New Zealand trip? And I'm taking somebody out for the first time. That's really probably not the smart thing to do. Can I take a newbie turkey hunting? Probably, a new guy. But that's where I'm kind of looking at now, and, as far as my guests, I just want it to be entertaining. But on the business side, I also got to look at what value do they bring to my show too, because every guy wants to go shoot something or go in the outdoors and be on TV,
Yeah.
It's good for their stock and everything. So I got to look at social numbers, because I'm promising my sponsors so many more, like I'm going to do digitals for them and so many social numbers with them, because that's what I'm bringing different to the table is a new following, a new crowd. Why would this be? Why would I sponsor Gladiators Unleashed when there's so many other hunting shows out there?
Yeah.
I'm bringing a new audience in to watch these shows, and that's what I'm really stressing on to these companies. So it's all about who I'm bringing in, and like I want to bring Kennedy in. He's a great guy. He knows he's been hunting, So I'm gonna bring in who's who, a couple females like Kat Zagano. I'm gonna do it all. I mean, I'm definitely might even bring a few NBA players, Bronco players I train with. I help Steve Hess with the Nuggets, and I mean, I can't say it's just all gonna be fighters because I might bring on a Gallinari or someone like that, Or to me, a perfect gladiator is a wounded warrior vet or something like that, So it's just all about that is what I feel like I'm going to bring to my show.
How about say a Joe Rogan, for instance?
That would be, icing on the cake for my show. I mean, it's just hand in hand, right? And like, with him and Cam Hanes doing their thing, and it was funny, like that last fight at in Vegas with the McGregor fight. I'm walking out and getting ready to corner Justin Salas, right? And I'm supposed to be like, all focused and everything, and I look behind Joe Rogan and I see Cam Hanes. So that's just like, oh man, I'm like starstruck. I'm like, look at it. So I go like this to Cam Hanes. He looks over at me. I grab my arrow and I look at him, boom, do the whole arrow thing. He's all like 2 thumbs up, and to me, it'd be great to have Joe Rogan on, and and it just would be hand in hand. It makes sense to have a guy like him on my show.
Yeah, he's really becoming a good spokesperson for hunting, and because he has such a different like what you're bringing, he's got such a diverse following, and
yeah, major following,
right, and then educating them because he's a smart guy, man. I mean, from the different cooking recipe, whatever he's talking about, how he's doing different things is he's really becoming a top-notch spokesperson for hunting, and it's good to see. Anytime you've got somebody from a different category of, like I said, whether it's sporting events or I don't know, man, it could be whatever. It could be somebody in the boating world, or like Will mentions, the skiing and climbing community. Other people like that come into the hunting community and shed a positive light on it, educate people. Man, it's really good.
What he says is just gold to people too.
Yep.
You know,
hunting really needs that melting pot. A few more ingredients and to really mix everything up in there. It's been kind of a really close-knit, kind of closed community for so long that I would think sponsors would really see a value in something like your show where you're like, listen, I'm bringing in people from the outside. These are new people.
Yeah, and and it's hard to say that because they want to see it already on TV and see the numbers already, and which is smart business on their part. I mean, I can't expect to go up to a company and say I need $100,000, and they're going to be like, why? Because you're a fighter.
Yeah.
I got to prove it to them and show them my media kit, and like I thought my media kit was really done well by my producer. I mean, we took the followers of Willie Robertson. He's the guy that people know from Duck Dynasty and the outdoor world, Duck, the Commandos, and all that. But these fighters have way more followers than Willie Robertson has. I mean, by millions. And for me to bring them to my show, those followers are going to follow. It's going to bring a new audience into the outdoors and bring new hunters in. I mean, who's going to, I mean, a big fan might be, like a Shane Carwin, like they love Shane Carwin and they'd be like, man, I didn't know he shot a bow. I need to try shooting a bow.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that brings value all around the world, these guys are going to, preach conservation, not even talking about like the preparation of a fighter, but this is going to be their meals that they train with, like their meat that they're going to have for training camp, their protein and all that, so there's a big cause for it, for them to be a part of the show and show other people why they're hunters.
You know what else would be good? I've always thought is get someone who's big in CrossFit.
Yeah, like yourself?
No, somebody. I was thinking somebody bigger. Someone who's maybe made it to the games on that level. Like Rich Froning, because I know he's into hunting. Or I've heard some of the other guys are starting to hunt now too. I think it's going to catch on, man. You watch hunting in the next 5 to 10 years, I think it's going to catch fire.
Which is good, it's really good, I mean, that's what I think we all have, that we all need. I mean, yeah, it's going to suck if you're hunting over the counter and you're going to have a bunch of guys out there hunting, but that shows you that we're actually doing our job right. People are paying for licenses and doing their part, and that's what the whole point is, introduce young Tom to hunting, and my kid when she's old enough, and I mean that's what it's about, right? I mean,
yeah,
to me it is.
Absolutely, and that's where there is that balance though, where you want to teach new people, you want to get them out there, but then there's that issue of when we're going to reach that teetering point of too many people. But in my opinion, I think that's when, like Colorado, will have to start looking at it and maybe limiting the over-the-counter license, doing more draw type hunts. But it'll work itself out. I feel it may take a little time, but it'll definitely work itself out.
Yeah, I mean, CrossFit. Will I bring a guy on? Heck yeah. I'm not. I'm not saying CrossFit is going to be the one that I'm going to put all my eggs in.
I'm just saying sprinkle, lightly sprinkle.
I know you're a big CrossFit dude.
Maybe get one. Maybe get one for the season,
Oh, all right. Well, maybe Maybe I try one with you, huh?
Hey,
Maybe we can do one.
I've got ideas. I've got ideas. Big Sexy and I got ideas.
Good, good. Yeah, I'm not gonna say no, and I'm not gonna say yes right now. But
There you
there's
go.
a lot.
Many people have
But
said yes way too soon.
Yeah, it's all about having fun when you're out there. I mean, that's the key is just get out there and having fun with the guys, the guests. That's what it is. What to me it's going to be, I mean, I've been on hunts where I have not even seen an elk, and I've had great times, camping, doing all that. I mean, that's what it's all about, getting out in the outdoors. You hear it all the time saying, "Oh, it's not about the kill." Well, it's not. It's all about the camaraderie and getting out there. The kill to me is the bonus.
Yeah.
And yeah, you want to get that picture with that big moose or big elk and the little bragging rights, but
But the
it's not always
stories
about that.
the stories of such and such screwed up with this, or somebody fell in the river, or
Yep.
all those things is where it's comical. It
Yeah.
brings you back to that point of kind of lightness and just having fun, and being able to throw your buddies under the bus throughout the year until next season comes around. Right? That's
Justin Gaethje is a perfect example of that. Like, I took that guy hunting with me numerous times to try to get a kill with him. There's a good thing why he can fight, and he's making great money now fighting, because he would not survive in the wilderness.
you go hungry.
He would go hungry, man. But I love his effort. Like he just picked up a bow from Phil, and he was determined to kill something with that. So I took him turkey hunting with me and Shane, and I mean, that guy had like 5 opportunities at 15, 20 yards, and he just kept on missing. We gave him the shotgun. He missed with that. I mean, it was all fun. So this year he's all like, I'm going and I'm getting it. I'm getting it done. So we'll see. We'll see.
So did he just? So he just tagged out. I mean, tag souped it. Nothing.
Nah, I mean, it was so bad. He missed so high that the birds didn't even get scared. They were like, "Whoa, what was that?" It was fun. Like, I got a little trailer on there on the Facebook, so you get to check that out of him, and it's just like, wow.
Where's that
Have
trailer
you ever
at?
shot before? On my Facebook, Gladiators Unleashed.
All right. So, do you have a most memorable hunt you've done so far with some of these guys?
Oh man, I I think all of them they all sit in my brain, and we can talk about it, but it's most of them. The memorable one that comes to my mind is probably Shane Carwin when he tagged his turkey up, and it was not because he got it, he tagged out. It was more meaningful for him because Shane was a world champion in the UFC. I mean, when you're in that limelight, you got to be doing road trips, meet and greets, always on the, kind of like some of these pro hunters that you guys had Christy on the other day, and they're always going to Cabela's doing stuff like that. Well, these fighters do the same thing. We have to go do all these meet and greets, and they can never have time to go on the outdoors, right? He said it's been like over 10 years before he picked up his bow and actually hunted with it. He said he would shoot his sack, his barrel, in his place, but he would never really go hunt until asked him to come along with me. And he dropped everything. He said yes. He cleared his schedule and went. You guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. So that to me was more meaningful for me is to get him out, and be a kid again, and the expression of him doing that and getting that bird was priceless to me.
Do you have someone in mind that would be like this guy? There's one guy I'd really like to get on the show. Is there someone out there for you?
Oh man, well, like me, like personally, like Joe Rogan would be a good guy to get on, just because I would like to introduce him to, my area that I'm from. I'm originally from Nebraska. I'd like to show him, where I grew up at, and how did a kid like me end up in Denver fighting, and that would be fun. I would love to take somebody that was more like a vegan or something like that, and show them why we do this, and why it's just not about getting an animal or a trophy on your wall, which I think a lot of people still think, they're like, do you just do it for the heads or what? I'm like, no. In fact, you look at my man cave now there, my walls are still kind of empty. But that's why I think it would be fun, is someone like, I would love to take a PETA person out and educate them. Really, I really would.
Yeah, and like I said, those experiences, those amongst friends, when you're having a good time, and they realize that, us as hunters, we're not out there with the sole intention of just slaying animals and whack them and stack them, and there's no there's no respect for what we're doing. It is not, I mean, there's some people like that out there, but it's so not that, and that's where I think that we get portrayed negatively just because of what a few people think and what fewer people even do. So I don't know. I agree that to take somebody out, allow them to share the experience with you, and
Yeah.
hopefully give them a different perspective. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
It'd be hard because, I mean, like I said, I'm just now starting to get my foot in the outdoor industry, and I throw a video up or a picture up of an animal, and you would not believe some of the comments I get, and I don't have time to get in a debate with them. I mean, if the free time I got, I try to spend it with my family, right? So all I do is I do the little delete,
Right.
delete. I try to get that negative stuff off, because I don't want some of my my fighter friends get on there and tell the person how it really is, because I don't want that negativity on the site, So I just delete it. So that's one thing that I'm kind of new on, is getting that negative feedback. Like, you're a killer. Why don't you, shoot yourself, And I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
delete. It's crazy. I'm like, why are you even on my page?
Yeah.
Do you just go on Facebook just to find stuff like this?
Keyboard warriors, man. Everyone's a tough guy.
It's crazy. Like, I don't have time to debate with you and tell you what I'm doing. I delete you, and I've had a couple, and I want to get on the keyboard and just, meet me in my gym,
Right.
I do. I really do. But, I feel like then I'll lose, the argument, and I just delete
That's
it.
the thing. The minute you play into that negativity, it's got you. And there's nothing
Yep.
worse than negativity out. I mean, though there's a lot of terrible things out there, but negativity, man, delete is the best thing you can do. Swipe it right away. Like, forget these
I
fools.
delete it, and I'm just like, well, I guess I'm going to get in this field. I'm going to have this conversation, and, I have my business partner and my producer, all admin of my Facebook, right? And I'm like not on my phone all the time. I'm usually training guys or working out myself, and they're like, dude, did you get that comment? Delete that comment. I'm like, you can do it too.
Yeah.
Delete it, don't let it sit there for 2 hours, So it is what it is. I mean, you're going to have them.
I think I got one negative comment once, and I just deleted it. We don't get a lot of negative comments, which is surprising.
Well, that's good, though.
Yeah, I don't get a ton. I got a few on some of the YouTube videos that I've done, and it was something to the extent where I'm reviewing a high end product, right? And they're like, "Oh, that's such a piece of trash. This is the best one," and it's a product of by far lesser price category, by far lesser quality, and it's just like, really? You think that piece of junk is better than this? All right, But it's the same kind of deal. I'm like, okay, look, thanks for your opinion. but I feel that this product is superior because of this. And I'm doing it from an informational standpoint. It's an opinion, right?
Yeah, let me tell you all about the greatness of the Whisker Biscuit.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
you're the only guy. There's always that one guy. He's like the only guy who really appreciates the Whisker Biscuit, and he appreciates it more than anybody else in the world. And he just needs to tell you how inferior any of your
All right.
rests are.
yeah.
Hey, wait a minute, Will. You're telling me the Whisker Biscuit's not good?
I'm
That's what
not.
Phil just told me.
Hey, we haven't graduated, Luke, to
I'm
some
just
of the-
kidding.
I mean,
You started the backtracking.
here's
Will,
the thing. Here's the thing, Luke. Here's the thing. You're not gonna come beat me up for selling you a Whisker Biscuit. But what happens to Phil? He's on the next show. He's got 2 black eyes. I'm just gonna pretend his wife did it.
No, I'm kidding. I'm excited. I got that new ham ski on this new bow, and
That's sick.
I'm excited. I'm
Did you get
really
it
excited.
personalized?
No,
What's that? Not yet. Not yet.
pretty soon we'll have to
Soon.
get one that says Little Hulk on it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm gonna do something.
Did you get it? Did you get it on there yet, Phil? Or what are you running?
Mine says I got one of the first runs that has my name on it.
Wait, does it say Big Sexy?
No. So Sean actually was when he gave me that first rest, it was at ATA, and I've been working with those guys I've been running their rests since they started with them, right?
Uh-huh.
And being one of their local guys that's kind of on the field staff for them, and they he told me, he goes, man, I debated putting Big Sexy on there, but I he goes, I figured I better keep it PC. Not that it's bad, but he told me he was almost about to put that into the when they were going to laser etch it or whatever they do there. So it was funny.
Oh, that would have been priceless.
I would have rocked it. I'd have,
Of course,
Yeah.
you're the Big Sexy. You would have had to.
Well, it's one of those things that it's all a matter of opinion. But hey, when I tell my wife, I joke around. I'll walk out of the shower and I'll just kind of be touching myself. I say, hey, how do you keep your hands off me? I can't keep my hands off me, but how do you keep your hands off? And then she goes into the whole, you're stupid, you're dumb. And then I need Will to inflate my head again with all those cool intros that he gives me. So, it's a constant balance in my house.
Right?
Oh yeah, it's like my wife brings me down to ground level, and then Will will bring me back up a little bit, and then my wife brings me back down. But
I know when it's been a rough few days for Phil when I'm getting texts. So we can do a show soon. When we doing a show?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, but
Yep.
so Luke, you've been working out my son Dom for a couple of 2-3 months now, right? It's been a little while, and I tell you, Luke I think needs an award for the biggest age range in students, because he's got kids like my son Dom, who's 6, right? And then what's the lady's name that you just trained that had her fight?
That just almost broke the internet with that whole story too. Her name was Ann, and she's 68.
68.
And she literally did her first MMA bout. And
No.
I mean, you want to talk about
What is
internet
this?
blow up.
Oh yeah,
I gotta Google this now. What should I Google?
they had it on the news
68-year-old?
last night.
Yeah, it was on the news again. I mean, at first it was really bad negativity, and now it's good and being positive because they got the story right. They heard it from us. I mean, this chick, she trains harder than some of my pros, right? I mean, she does. Is she? Was she going to get hurt into the fight? No, I would never put her into the octagon. But I mean, she probably get more hurt training with me than the fight. I mean, when I got her the opportunity, because I knew how much it meant to her. Despite this woman's background is unbelievable. Like, I won't get into all of it, but this woman beat cancer, and she just done so many things. Like, who am I to say she couldn't fulfill her dream? I mean, this is what she lives for, And so I put her to the test. I mean, don't get me wrong. My mom and dad would kick my ass if they knew how bad I would push her in the gym and spar with her, and she took it and she did great. And that's when I said, all right, I'm going to find a promoter, I'm going to find a show, and I'm going to get her on a card.
Yeah.
So I did it, and people were like, "Oh, come on, what are you doing that for? It's bad for the sport." Yeah, well, a lot of things are bad for the sport. Steroids are bad for the sport. Everything's bad for the sport, you know?
Here's my thing. I don't see it as being bad for the sport for this sole reason. I think if somebody is of sound mind and body and they, of any age, want to do something like that, whatever it is, it's legal. You should be able to, by God, chase your dreams, go out there and do it. I think the worst thing we can do is to start putting limits on people, especially because of their age. And there's been a shift in this country where it used to be we're supposed to respect and learn from our elders, and all that stuff. And now it's like people treat them like they're a big burden and almost want to throw them away like they're trash. They're no longer you've passed 65. You're no longer useful to us, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I got to watch her work out quite a bit. Luke works her out usually right after Dom and a lot of days, and it was one of those deals that I was like, man, she's getting after it, And there was even times where she was working out with other people. I mean, Luke is, but I saw her even with another guy, hitting.
Boxing guy.
Yeah, and she was like, she's on it, She's really working her game. And so here's the way I looked at it. It's like, if you're going to allow women to wrestle in boys sports in high school, right, because of equality and everything else, then what's the difference? Whether it's if there's an age barrier or if there's a sex barrier, everybody wants equality, but then they want to say, oh, that's you're too old. No, bullcrap. I saw it, and I didn't get to watch the fight live, but we got to see it on the news, and she didn't win, but you know what? She got in there and she got after it. She competed.
That's what it was all about, is her to get in there, win or lose.
She didn't look afraid one bit.
No, like this is what she wanted to do, you know, and she passed all the medicals. I mean, you got to do a lot of medical things before you get in that cage. All the blood testing, everything, EKGs. I mean, it's a pretty long list of what you got to do before you step in that cage. And she did that with flying colors. Let her fight.
Yeah,
especially when she has a trainer like me.
I think there's nothing worse than stunting somebody's dream.
Yeah.
If someone's got the courage to get out there, get after it, put themselves in harm's way in that position, knowing full well what can happen to them, there is nothing worse than a person who says, you shouldn't, you can't, you'll never get it. Those people should all go fuck themselves.
Exactly. Because they're the ones laying on the couch, sitting on the thing, watching it on TV, saying, "I should. Why don't they do this? Or they should have done this." Yeah, get off the couch, Sally.
It's the same people. You don't need to be fit to hunt. You don't need to shoot that many arrows. You don't need. I cannot stand those people. If you're one of those people listening right now, you can just turn this off and never turn this back on, because I don't need you in my audience. Neither does Phil.
They would be the delete button on my socialism.
I hate that.
You're gonna have haters. You're gonna have haters, and like the way I always look at it, if I don't have haters, I'm not doing things right. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. I just watched that fight real quick while you guys were talking, and I give her all the respect in the world, because the amount of balls it takes because I used to wrestle, or anybody who competes, anybody willing to put themselves in any kind of field where they're willing to compete, my hat's off to you. You've earned my respect. You've done the training, you've done the time, you put the work in. I know what it's like not to want to get up. I know what it's like not to want to do your workout, not to eat the right food. I know how hard it is to tell that little voice that's sitting in the back of your head, oh, Will, we could just hit that snooze alarm. We could get 15 more minutes. We could get 20 more minutes. We don't have to get up. You're tired. You're sore. Stay in bed. I know what it's like to have to tell that voice to shut up and go and take a hike. This lady had to go through all this. She had to go through all that. She had to, you know how many people, I can't even imagine the amount of people that would have told her she's crazy, who've told her it's not a dream worth chasing.
Yep. Even me, as a young kid, if I had a penny for every time, what are you doing this for?
Yeah.
it ain't gonna take you nowhere. You know, you what are you doing? Go get a job, a real job. And I'm like, no, it's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I always, no, same thing. I don't know. It is what it is. Like, you're gonna have those haters, and just like in anything.
If you're following your dream, there's nothing that shuts up haters more than when you go out there and just do it.
Succeeded. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, to me, it's fuel for me. I like the haters. Like, I'm like, don't get me wrong. Like, even me doing this whole Gladiators Unleashed thing, getting in the outdoors, like, I've had the haters like, what, why are you doing this? You haven't killed nothing big or anything. And I'm like, pretty much, yeah, I have. Everything I have harvest is a trophy to me. And for one, I'm not doing this show for you. You don't got to watch it,
And that's the thing, man. That's what who out there said that to be on TV with a hunting show, you need to have 20 years of experience and you need to have killed so many trophy quality animals, and who said that, right? Because you're looking at this from a perspective of you've got a unique situation of you training people and you've been able to hunt with these guys, and it's not a common. They're, like I said, I'm not talking down to the UFC, the MMA community at all about they're not hunters. I think that there's a lot of them that are. But you've got the opportunity, and you've got the business mind, you've got the initiative to put it together and present it in a package in an entertainment form, right? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not going to cut corners on this. Like, I'm not going to go out there with a handheld and videotape me out of a tree stand. I am paying top dollar for a production team. I'm going to bring the best production value on the tube so you can watch it and try to, capitalize a great story on it too, so the viewers can enjoy it, and that's what I'm trying to do. When I stepped on this, I love that, I watch the Sportsman's Outdoor Channel, and, I watch all these shows, and I'm like, man, why isn't there something like this on there? And that's what really got me going, on it.
To be the man who steps up out of the crowd and says, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make my dream happen. I'm going to make it reality, takes far more guts and far more personal strength and testicular fortitude than most of these people who stay in the crowd and point fingers at you and try to tear you down or hold you back or, talk shit to you. It takes far more of that stuff than they'll ever have. Because a lot of these people, they get like that because they, one, didn't have what it took when the opportunity knocked for them to do what it took to open that door and go for it. Something held them back. They just didn't have it. Or they're scared of other people's success. And there's nothing worse than those people.
Yep, exactly. And then I've always been a gambler. I'm a risk taker, and I will do everything, to my capabilities and to always proceed my dream. Like, if I fail, well, at least I'm going to fail trying, and that's the way I look.
I heard the quote the other day, if you fail, fail forward. Make sure you learn something from it. Make sure you get a takeaway from it. And that's what I liked about Conor McGregor. He's failing forward. Why is he fighting again? Because he knows he learned something in that fight. Maybe he learned something none of us know in that fight that he's going to use to take it into the next level.
And not only that, but people are going to remember his name. You know what I mean? That's what I respect. He didn't cower away from doing a rematch. He wants that rematch because he is a competitor and he thinks he can beat that guy. That's what I like about him. He's like, yeah, he might have got choked, but he ain't going to get him again.
And that's the thing. You're either that guy who at the end of the game says, give me the ball. I'll take the shot. I'll make the run. I'll throw the pass. I'll take the hit. Or you're the guy who shies away and says, I'm just going to fall back into the crowd and the fold.
Yep. Yep. Is that kind of like I'm not a big CrossFitter guy. I know you are. But when you're doing that, that's kind of like you want the ball, right? Like you're competing like that, right?
That's what CrossFit is. CrossFit's give me the ball. I'm going to put it on the line, and I'm going to go for it. And I think that's why so many people are attracted to that. I think because you have to put yourself out there to
Right.
to really stick around in CrossFit. You have to get used to being uncomfortable, being the guy saying I'm going to push it to the end of the workout, which is why I think people are also attracted to Train to Hunt or Phil's, competition coming out, Alpha Bow Hunter,
Right.
or even archery for that matter. Anybody who ever shot an indoor tournament knows what the fear of getting up and standing on that line when you're surrounded by a bunch of other really talented archers is like. And that's why, I got a little passionate earlier, may have cussed a little bit, but I've been told a lot in my life that things I am doing, including this podcast, are a waste of my time and it will never go anywhere, never amount to anything. Why are you doing it? Why are you wasting your time? Over and over and over again, I've heard it from teachers, I've heard it from coaches, I've even heard it a couple times from my parents or family, right? And you know what? You know what? I don't give a shit what any of those people have ever said to me. Not once. And you know what? I'm happy as hell doing all the things I've done. People have told me Train to Hunt's a waste of time. They told me archery's a waste of time. Hunting's a waste of time. Well, maybe to them it is. Maybe to them it is. Maybe if you want to live a comfortable life in your comfort zone and never get bothered, hey, that's great. That's great. That's a great life for you. But for me, people like us, we want to fly too close to the sun.
Yep.
Get burned or not.
It's so true. Like, I mean, I'm willing to lose. I mean, that's like when I was fighting.
Nailed it.
Right. When I was fighting, I would literally, I mean, there's 50-50. Like, you're going to either win and there's going to be a winner and a loser, right? When I would get my hands taped, and I would almost guarantee 99.9 fighters deal with this. When they're getting their hands taped before they're getting ready to fight, they're thinking in their head, why in the fuck am I doing this? How can I get out of this? Right? Like, what did I get myself into? But then once you start getting that tape done and you start feeling it, you get in that mode, and you're like, boom, and you start to hear the crowd roar. That is why you do it. That is the reason. I'm telling you, it's a high, that I can relate now to hunting because I'm no longer fighting. But when I put that arrow on that animal is because I practice and I did it. Nobody else did it. It wasn't a team.
Yeah.
It was me. And when I miss and I lose, it was me. And that's what I love about fighting. That's what I love about wrestling. I mean, of course it all takes a team, and even in this outdoor thing, it takes a great shop. Like I go to No Limits, and it takes a great team to set up my bow, to make sure that it's tuned right, it's good. But when it's all said and done with, you're the one out there shooting. And that's what I love about it.
Hell yeah. You're the one. You're willing to lose. I think you put it there perfectly. And you know what's funny? You say that thing about when you're getting your hands taped up, why the hell am I doing this? It's like there's times where I've in the middle of the season, near the end of the season, I've had zero success. I've been freezing my ass off, and I'm putting my clothes on for like the 300th time that season, and it's cold as hell and it's dark as hell, and I'm heading back into the woods thinking, why am I doing this?
Yep.
And then just a little animal shows up, and I'm like, ooh, this is why I'm here.
Yep.
Yep. I get that when I put a heavy pack on and I'm like getting ready for a workout. I'm like, why the hell am I doing this?
Yeah.
Because that's right. That's the part that it's like, I'll deal with a little bit of cold. Don't get me wrong. I don't like the cold. I'm with you on that last story, Will, but it's more when we were doing 200 pounds on Train to Hunt, it's like, what the hell are we doing?
And exactly. Like, right now I was talking to Aaron earlier today, and, we're he's coming on board to be a part of the show, which I'm so blessed to have. Like, to me, it's like the ultimate pack, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's
No argument there.
like, it's the brand that I want to represent, and it's the brand that I think Gladiators will represent the brand, perfect for.
But I'm thinking, he's like, yeah, man, we'll have to do some things, like, and I follow Aaron, on social, and I watch some of his things, and I'm going, man, I'd rather get punched in the face.
You heard it here first. Luke would rather get punched in the face than hang out with Aaron Snyder.
You know what I mean? Like I see some of those hikes he does and feeling them. They go, like I have to run Red Rocks with the fighters, and I hate it. I hate running, hate it. And then I see these guys load up their packs and do the Red Rocks deal, and I'm like, man, I thought I was done fighting. I'm done. I want to go there and watch a concert, drink beer, and hang out, but not work out again.
The workouts these guys do when they all meet up at the is the Mountain Warrior Trading Camp, it's called. When they get together, from the pictures I've gathered, it's a lot like the Steve Prefontaine quote of the only pace. I think it's the only pace is like a death pace, and today's a good day to die. That's what they're all going out there for. It's like.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe if I kick these guys right in the thigh, they'll go my level.
Yeah.
And it's the Iceman. Someone like the Iceman is going to be there, and he's going to be thinking, I hope I go so hard someone else collapses out here.
Right? And I'm like, man, I'm just trying to get a workout in.
We've been on a couple hikes, and this was more last year. I've only been on a couple this year. But last year, there was a couple times where Luke and Gabe and Colton and Grant and Aaron, and it was just like, okay, who's just gonna go full retard and be the one that's on that death pace? Because it wasn't the same guy every time that was doing it, but it was somebody different that usually take the lead and get after it. But you're right, it was one of those things. We'd get done, and we'd look at each other and it's like, you don't have to say anything, It's just, that was. Yeah, that was dumb. Not dumb, but it was dumb.
Those are the best training partners, though.
Oh, it's great, and
that's right.
I need to join that crew a little bit more. On the last hike, I saw Grant. I don't know if you guys seen Grant on social media, the big afro dude. Grant's a cool guy, but him and Colton, I guess they got into a little grab ass match, and I think Colton ended up shoving Grant into some cactus. Well, Colton's telling me, yeah, we were picking cactus out of Grant for about an hour after the hike. And it's it's stuff like that. Those even though that's not hunting, it's preparing for hunting. It's the same relationships. It's the same experiences. It's the same stories, and it all comes full circle, man.
Right.
It's all part of the sport that is hunting. Still.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You have to do it. You got to prepare. I mean, but my short little Mexican ass legs, well, fucking with those guys, I'm like, man, maybe I can bring them into my gym and just give them a little taste of what I do, and then they'll get a little more respect when I'm up there dragging ass.
I'd love to see that. Phil, you got to get it together. You got to make that happen. Get the crew.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I, unlike Luke, don't like getting hit in the face. Trevor, who's one of the other partners at Grudge, I used to work out with Trevor when he opened his first gym, T's KO Gym, I think is what it was. Yep. And I went in there with another friend of mine, and we did it. We boxed and worked out with him it was just boxing at that point. I was doing for like 6 months, and I got to spar with Jake a couple times. Jake's a big boy, right? I mean,
and he was even bigger back then.
He was 6'2", 215, 220, and every time I got into spar, it's like I happened to get him, and I'm 5'10". And I'm, a $185, $190. He's got me outweighed by 25, 30 pounds, 4 inches taller, and he'd light me up, and he was just going easy. And I'm sitting there, and my head just, boom, boom,
like a Pez.
Right? And then after a while, it's like, man, I love this kind of workout. It's a great workout. I don't like getting hit in the face.
Yeah.
Flat out.
It's definitely not for everybody, It's definitely, people need to work at IBM. Others need to be fighters.
I didn't go that far, Luke. I didn't go that far, man. But I'll fall in the middle. I'll just say I fall in the middle. But you're right. So tell us, Luke. So you guys are your show, Gladiators Unleashed. You guys are working on some episodes as we speak. You're going to be going on some hunts. But when are we going to be able to see you guys on the screen?
Okay, so we
it's not set and done in a contract written, but we talked to sportsmen. Sportsmen's Outdoor Channel really want us, and we're pretty much pushing Q1 of 2017. I mean, we got to start somewhere, right? And I'm happy starting. I'm just happy that they're interested in us and they want, they're all about it. They want something new like this, and so that's pretty much the whole gig. So this year we're filming pretty much every hunt that I go on to show you guys, in 2017 Q1, so that's where it's all at right now, and right now we're just in the process of getting sponsors, because all this stuff costs money, I mean, you guys know hunts cost money, especially if you're bringing a guest or a guest, multiple guests, out of state tags cost a lot of money. So I got to get, the kitty rolling and prove to these sponsors that we are different. We're going to bring something different, new followers, and try to be different and unique, and like, me being a fighter, most of my pay came from sponsorship. So I know how important sponsorship is. And I think that's what we have a lot going for, me stepping in the outdoor industry is I'm not just expecting a company like Aaron to drop mad money at me for something that they haven't even seen yet, right? So what I'm doing is I'm going to build them an audience. I'm going to build them. Well, where you at? You lost?
We got you. We got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to build an audience for them, and I want to prove it to them that, this is going to make it worth their while. I want, wouldn't I love to sell thousands a pack for Aaron, but realistically, I'm going to get them new followers, new faces to their brand, that's the key.
Yep.
That's what I want to do. I want to be different and show the sponsors that I will take care of you and
do it in the format that you're going to be talking, because I've talked to you quite a bit about different stuff you're working on the show, and I agree. I think that it's going to be a refreshing show that's different, that's unique. Doesn't matter which season you're going to see it, because the content is going to be to me it's going to be it's going to be hunting with a twist, with the MMA crowd and with a different element. To me, that doesn't. I think you guys are going to do well, and I don't think it matters what time it airs or when it airs. Not that you're going to get a bad slot. I'm just saying, I think that you guys' show is going to be refreshing, and it's going to quickly become one of the more valuable, shows for whatever network you guys end up working with, because there's a lot that goes together. There's just so much that goes together with the different worlds. Those two worlds are so related in so many ways, and they're so different in so many ways that, man, I'm excited to see it. I know Will. I think Will's in the same boat because he's an MMA fan.
Hell yeah.
We're all hunting fans, and definitely, like you said, Luke, it's going to be, you're going to get a little taste of the guys that are following you and that want to be a part of what you're doing and want to be on the show, and the MMA crowd that's, hey man, I want to do this, because they're going to see value and they're going to see a part of what you're going to grow, and they're going to want to be in, because it's going to be contagious.
That's the plan. I hope so. I mean, everything's a risk, right?
Oh yeah.
And from the feedback I got, it's a green light, and I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna run with it until the wheels fall off. So I'm excited for it. And I'm excited to keep showing new teasers and everything, because I have like a bunch of them still that I got to show, and it's fun. It's gonna be fun.
Throw us a little teaser to put out.
All right. If you go, actually, last night I just put out one. It's a little 5-minute one of it's more like an introductory of what I did last year. Of kind of like, you have Shane's little segment on there. You have Gaethje's on there. You just have some of these top athletes out there, shooting and missing, and we haven't really got in the talking comical part, because I gotta show who these guys are first, because I can't just start busting out some of these guys' attitudes,
I like that.
It's fun. So if you go to the page now, I mean, we put it up last night, and I mean, it was cool seeing. I woke up this morning and I got like 30 some shares and of new people, and to me, like that's cool. Like it's fun for me seeing that like people like, oh man, they dig this. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
to me, that's
Cool.
rewarding for me. Like I know that this is gonna work and it's fun. And that's what I'm excited about.
Let me
Oh yeah.
let me ask you this: do you get excited when you don't have to pay full price for your supplements?
Do I get excited? Hell yes.
You
I
know
mean, you
what?
think I get suckers?
No,
Ugh.
no man gets guns like those without a
Now,
little
now,
supplementation.
without Mountain Ops, right?
Damn straight without mountain ops. Damn straight. And if any
Here's the
people,
deal. On the Mountain Ops deal, like I talked to Jordan and them at SHOT Show, and I showed them the clip, and they're like, well, do you take Mountain Ops, and I said, no. I take, Muscle Farm, because that's pretty much what we were given. He goes, well, we like to, have you try it. So I got home and I got on the internet and I got on and I ordered everything, right? So I said, I'll start taking it, right? I got this cleanser, cleansing, whatever it's called, right? Hey, man, it's supposed to help for weight loss and everything. Oh, I'll tell you what, it works. It's cleaning you out. And on the label it says what say poop easy or like that, nice poops or whatever on it. I forget what it says. And I'm like, yeah, that's an understatement.
so you're saying your intestines were at the death race pace.
Oh man, I was like, okay, I got to plan my day a little bit better. Like, how far am I going to be away now that I'm taking this? Now it's all good. I think my body just wasn't ready for a cleansing like that.
Too many tortillas and beans, man.
Yeah, that's just it. I was just like, oof, man.
Man,
But
this
I'm
pleasure
happy.
works great, but my toilet paper bill's doubled.
Yeah, right. I got the discount on the supplements, but everything else went up. But it's all good. Like I love the Yeti. I love it all. It's good.
Well, if anybody would like their intestines to be a lean, mean fucking machine like Luke's, you can go ahead and get 20% off your order at Mountain Ops or getmountainops.com by entering the coupon code
NBH20.
That's right. All you got to do is enter it at checkout, and you too will have the greatest poops of your entire life.
Yeah.
There's,
Yeah, buddy.
there's a commercial no one else is doing for them.
Gotta be real, man.
That's right.
It cleaned me. I ain't gonna lie. It works, and I'm still taking it. I don't have the issue now. I think my body's good. So, but the first one was a little bit rough. I ain't gonna lie.
Also, those of you watching the video version of this episode has probably spotted Phil's sweet OD green Maven t-shirt because guess what? Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You want to tell him, Phil? You want to tell him about this?
Hey, yeah, Will's been nodding me and saying, "Hey, man, you got to check these binos out. You got to check these binos out." So I went and bought a pair of binos, and I tell you what, I've been putting in the work over the last week or so since I've gotten them, and I'm very impressed. I mean, we've got to, meet with the good people at Maven. We've had Brendan on the show and talking with them more, and me asking them 100 questions and really learning their product, and them seeing value in our feedback. They gave us a bonus code as well for a free gift for you. If you decide you want to go out and get you a set of binoculars, I encourage you to check out the Mavens. And to the extent I bought a pair to have in my shop, so that way anybody that wants to bring their pair in and look at them side by side, or just look at a new pair, the ones that I have there, man, come check them out at no limits, right? Because these guys, you have to buy direct, right, Will? I mean,
That's right. You can check them out at Phil's shop, but you cannot purchase them at Phil's shop. And here's the great thing. Phil isn't just bullshitting, y'all. He bought the binoculars his own damn self.
And I wanted to do that just because if at the end of the day, if I don't like them, I'm not tied, I'm not obligated to anything, right? Working the partnership, the business relationships with people, you need to sometimes give a little to get a little. And with these guys, I committed to buying some, and I've been looking through them. Man, I tell you what, I've got a pair of $2,000 binoculars, and now I've got a pair of Mavens, and I'm going to tell you that I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't see $1,000 or $1,200 difference in those binoculars. I really don't. To me, if you're looking for a top-notch set of binoculars and your budget is around $1,000, man, you got to check out the Mavens because they are money. There's no question that they're as good as something twice the price range. And like I said, I don't want to sound like too much of a sales pitch because to me, they agreed to give you, not us, right? They're giving any of our listeners as a bonus. If you want to go out and get you a set of Mavens, they're going to give you a special gift at checkout if you type in NBH gift.
That's right. I mean, if you're looking, that's in your price range. You can spend a lot of time, if you're a fancy gentleman like myself, customizing the hell out of your own pair. I mean, they've got patterns up the ass. And all you got to do to get yourself a free gift is enter the code NBH gift. And Phil, this is what I love. I was telling Phil how great these are. Phil's like, all right, I really like Brendan. I'm calling him. I'm going to get myself some. And we start the show today. Before we start the show, I'm like, Phil, that's a great T-shirt. Where'd you get that T-shirt? And he's like, I pulled the trigger. I bought some binoculars. And I was like, well, how are they? And he goes, you know what? I have, like he said, a $2,000 plus pair of very well-known brand of binoculars. And I went side by side, ran them through some tests, and I couldn't tell you a single difference. Not one difference. And the Mavens are $1,000 cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, and I spent my fair share of time behind the glass last year up in the high country sheep hunting, and I tell you that I am very much looking forward to them coming out with the new products. I can't say what it is yet. We've got a little bit of insight here this summer because I'm going to buy some of those for high country mule deer hunt this year. I'm sold. I'm a fan, and I encourage you guys to check them out. Like I said, I have a set. I'll have my set at the shop if anybody's around Denver area want to come check them out. I'm actually buying another pair. So just so you guys know, I've got a pair of 8x42s, the B1s, and a pair of 11x45s of the B2s that I'll have there that you guys can check out. But unless I'm hunting, because then they're going to be on my bino harness.
Nice.
So, hey, that's it, man. I got to run, Luke. As always,
where
man.
can people check you out, Luke? Where can they
There you
check
go.
out your stuff? Where can they peep it?
We're on everything, like the whole social network. You can check me out at Gladiators Unleashed on Facebook. Got a couple new reels out there, so you guys want to get a little taste of that. Check that out. Share it, like it. That's always nice. What am I on? Gladiators _ whatever you do. Unleashed on Instagram, Twitter. We're on all of it. Check it out. YouTube, and we head to New Zealand April 12th, I think. So you can catch us up there and see what we're gonna do. We're gonna do some live feeds there. So it'll be good. It's gonna be fun, and most of all, I gotta say thank you guys for putting me on this podcast with you guys. There's only so many podcasts I listen to, and you being one of them. And the Gritty and Joe Rogan's is my 3 podcasts. That's it. The Fighter and the Kid once in a while, depending on who they have. But I like I say, I appreciate you guys for letting me be on here and what you guys are doing and bringing to the table. So I appreciate that and your time.
Hey, man.
Well, thanks, man.
We'll do it again, especially as you got more stuff developing and getting ready to, later in the year, once stuff starts to unfold a little bit better, man, for sure. It's a lot of fun and maybe bring a guest on or two and we'll just sit here and bullshit because that's what we do,
Yeah. I mean,
see squirrels and bullshit.
Just partying bullshit here on the Natural Born Hunter Show. And like Luke said, everybody likes it when you share their stuff. So share this episode. Check us out on Natural Born Hunter on Facebook, naturalbornhunter.com. We're on Instagram. Phil's also on Instagram, Phil Mendoza. If you haven't signed up for the Alpha Bow Hunting Challenge yet, you better get your ass over there and do it before Phil reaches the sign-up limit, because that's going to happen. That will happen. Other than that,
Subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes. And check out Championship Bow Hunting Podcast as well.
Have a great night.
We're out.
Later.